We don't need to say a word to give off so many clues about how we're truly feeling. Our body language does that for us, whether we like it or not. You'll be able to spot a fake smile, a liar, and whether a person likes you or not once you've watched our video. If this is your first time visiting our channel, make sure you subscribe and then discover what your body language reveals about you. Keep watching to the end to learn how to manipulate your own body language to give off a serious air of confidence. Lying. Even the best liars give away small clues of their dishonesty through their body language. When the stakes are at their highest, it's down to FBI agents like Mark Boutin to uncover the liars. He shares the signs to look out for in his book, How to Spot Lies Like the FBI. Some of these are down to chemical reactions in their body when we lie, like our face is itching, so touching or scratching the face can be signs of a lie. We also have physical reactions when we tell a lie, like our mouth going dry, so look out for pursed lips or sucking motions, which are natural responses to this dryness. An increase in perspiration is also an involuntary response to lying. Sweat on the cheeks, back of the neck, or forehead can all be indications of this. The nervous system kicks into gear when we lie too, and this can cause the involuntary reflex of blushing. It's a response to adrenaline being released in our bodies. Although it doesn't always mean the person's lying, it does usually mean they feel uncomfortable or nervous. There are plenty of facial expressions that give the game away too. These include the eyes darting from side to side. This is a physiological reaction to feeling trapped by a question the liar doesn't want to answer. It harks back to the days when we needed to find an escape route from a dangerous adversary.
Hey guys, we are so excited to announce we are producing our own original content. Head over to The Trendy for the best DIYs, fashion tips, makeup hacks, and so much more. We are sure you're going to love it, and be sure to let us know what you think in the comment section. We love to hear from you. See you there.
Fake smile. Sometimes we aren't outright lying, we're just not showing our true feelings, and that often comes in the form of a fake smile. But how can you spot a fake smile? You need to look toward the eyes. Way back in the 1800s, a French physician named Guillaume Duchenne studied the physiology of facial expressions, and he found the difference between fake smiles and genuine smiles. A genuine one, which has been named the Duchenne smile, involves contraction from two sets of muscles. These are the ones that raise the corners of the mouth, plus the ones that raise the cheeks. This creates crow's feet around the eyes and can make the eyes close slightly. A fake smile only involves the muscles around the mouth. That's because we can't voluntarily contract the muscles that raise our cheeks and make wrinkles around the eyes. Scientists have discovered that these two types of smiles are controlled by two different sections of our brain. How well you can spot the difference might just indicate how good you are at appreciating the feelings of others. In this empathy test, psychologist Richard Wiseman used two photos of a man, one with a genuine smile and one with a fake smile. He found that if you lack empathy, you are very bad at differentiating between the two photographs. A fake smile can cover up a range of emotions, and one of them is dislike. Dislike. If you really like someone but don't want them to know, you'll need to be hyper aware of your body language, because there are plenty of involuntary, subconscious things you do that reveal your true feelings. No matter how hard you try, you won't be able to suppress them all. Take foot position, for example. You probably don't even think about your feet, as you assume the face says it all. And if you manage not to scowl, you're doing all you need. But retired FBI agent Joe Navarro calls the feet and legs the most honest body part. In his body language book, What Every Body Is Saying, he explains what happens when you're in a room with someone you don't like. Your feet will almost immediately turn away from that person. Another body language signal is touching the nose. People often do that when they experience something they don't like or remember something negative. This is because when people think negatively, their blood pressure increases, and so the blood vessels in the nose dilate, causing tissues to swell. The release of histamine makes your nose itch. It's like the reaction that causes an itchy face when you tell a lie. In fact, touching the nose can be a sign of lying too, but only if the person believes that lying is bad. If the person doesn't think that lying is bad, they won't feel compelled to touch their nose. It's fascinating, isn't it? Compassion. Let's move on from all this negativity to much more positive emotion. Compassion. If you want to be seen as a caring, compassionate person, you might say certain things. If you're genuinely like that, your body language will be full of clues. And a 2011 study conducted by psychologists at the University of California, Berkeley found 3 main signs of compassion in facial expressions and body language. They showed participants 20-second clips of people responding to someone telling them about a time they suffered. And the majority of participants relied on the same cues to assess who was a compassionate listener. These were open body language, eye contact, and a nodding head with smiling. So first Lastly, people who were viewed as compassionate listened with their whole body, not just their head. This involves turning towards the other person with your whole body. They didn't cross their arms or legs. Instead, they gave approach signals, like leaning toward the speaker. Secondly, they made soft eye contact. This enabled them to see the speaker's full facial expressions. It involved a soft focus on the triangle of a person's eyes and mouth. This avoids the intense gaze, and it breaks the eye contact regularly to avoid making the speaker feel uncomfortable. Thirdly, they offered connecting gestures. These include smiles and head nods. This encourages the speaker to continue. Previous research has also shown that touch, like a hand on the shoulder, is even more of an indicator of compassion. Impatience. People can be impatient for a variety of reasons. They might be busy and need to be somewhere else, or they might not be interested in what the other person is saying. Whatever the reason, it's likely that they'll give off some body language clues that reveal their true feelings, even if they don't admit their impatience with words. Body language expert Scott Sylvan Bell has outlined a few telltale signs to look out for. The first of these is fidgeting. Tapping feet or drumming fingers can be a sign of impatience or annoyance. When somebody wants to be somewhere else, their body can't help but move involuntarily. It's like the body has created the energy to move away, and because it can't, it has to expel that energy through small movements like fidgeting. This yearning towards leaving is also seen in body position. A person who is feeling impatient might turn from the person talking to them. They might lose eye contact and turn their head. They could tilt their shoulders and torso away and shift their lean towards the door. Their feet could even point away, and they might take deep breaths or even sigh. Nervousness. When you're feeling nervous, the last thing you want is for anyone else to realize, but there are certain aspects of your body language that will give it away, and former FBI agent Joe Novero claims that we're all hardwired not only to display anxiety ourselves, but to also recognize it in others. This dates back to the caveman days as a way of recognizing danger quickly. So what are some body language signs of nervousness? Plenty of them are to do with your hands. You'll subconsciously perform soothing motions in an attempt to make yourself feel better, like playing with your hands. This might be cracking your knuckles or interlacing your fingers. You might rotate your hands back and forth. Some people rub their hands together. In extreme cases of great stress, this can be done to such an extent that it causes the skin to bleed. Hands can also be used to perform other repetitive behaviors like hair twirling. This pacifying action is an attempt to alleviate the anxiety we're feeling at that moment. We might also use our hands to rub our forehead when we're feeling nervous. This is a subconscious attempt to soothe the brain by placing pressure on the nerves. Outright flirting. There are all sorts of body language signs people give off when they're flirting with someone. Some of them are deliberate, and we're going to take a look at these first. Any of these signals will give someone the message loud and clear that you like them. First off, there's your gaze. If you see someone you like across a crowded room, chances are you'll want to check them out. If you don't want them to know, then you'll probably look away as soon as you think they've spotted you. But if you want them to know you're interested, then you'll let them catch you checking them out. When their eyes meet yours, hold their gaze. Just for a few seconds though, otherwise it could be deemed a bit creepy. Give a little smile and then look away. After some time has passed, repeat the process. This kind of repeated eye contact is a pretty clear indication that you'd like them to come over. Once you're in conversation, you can employ one of the oldest body language tricks in the book, batting your eyelashes. It's a cliched move, but there's also some science behind it. Overactive eyelid movements are actually a subconscious reaction to being with someone you like. It's a natural response to blink slightly faster than you would normally. And finally, there's laughing. If you smile, giggle, and outright laugh at everything remotely funny they say, you're definitely revealing your positive attitude toward them. Secret attraction. We've already looked at the deliberate signs people use when flirting. Now we're going to look at the body language clues that you might show unintentionally. You might be unaware you're doing any of these things. So the next time you're with your crush, see if you catch yourself giving off any of these unconscious signals. Firstly, there's dilated pupils. Men and women's pupils get larger when they're with someone they like. This is a biological response, so it can't be faked or covered up. Similarly, there's flared nostrils. This is another involuntary response when you're feeling excited or aroused. You might also find that your heart's faster, and therefore you breathe more quickly. Our legs and particularly feet can reveal how we're really feeling too. You will point them in the direction of the person you like without even knowing you're doing it. The chances are you'll also subconsciously mirror the other person's movements. Of course, you can attempt to do this on purpose too. Just make sure you're subtle about it. And finally, there's what you do with your fingers and hands. You might employ self-soothing motions, like brushing your fingers across your cheek, or playing with your hair, like moving it off your face behind your ear or twiddling with a strand. Defensiveness. When you're feeling defensive, you subconsciously revert to self-protection practices you used as a child, but they're more subtle and and adults. For example, children might hide behind their mom's skirt or a sofa when they feel insecure. Adults employ these same barrier tactics in their body language when they feel defensive without even realizing, like holding something in front of the body as a form of protection. This could be a cushion if we're sitting down, or a bag when standing, or a podium if you're making a speech. We also use self-touch gestures to shield the body, like playing with a wristwatch or cufflinks. Of course, the most well-known self-comfort gesture associated with defensiveness is folding the arms. It protects the vulnerable area of the chest, where the heart and lungs are. Joe Navarro lists many reasons for adopting this posture. These include the self-soothing that we've already mentioned, as well as stress relief. It can mask insecurity or indicate anxiety or fear. But interestingly, it can also be used to make yourself look bigger and more intimidating. In this scenario, it's called the power pose. Police officers, bouncers at clubs, and bullies will often adopt this pose. On the flip side, it can also be used amongst friends and colleagues to show interest in a topic. Standing with your arms loosely by your sides is usually considered a much less defensive pose. Confidence. Confidence is pretty hard to fake. If you're naturally shy, this will often show up in your body language and facial expression. But there are certain things you can try to do to make yourself appear more confident. Compare two different sitting postures. In one version, the person is hunched over, looking down at the table with a worried expression. In the other, the person is sitting straight, with the chin up and smiling. It's clear to see which one is a confident pose and which isn't. Author of The Body Language Advantage, Lillian Glass, explains that confident people are always looking up, never down at the table, the ground, or their feet. If you want to try to adapt this strategy yourself, you can pretend that there's a string holding the crown of your head up. This also has the added advantage of giving you correct posture. When you're standing, you should position your 2 feet firmly planted on the ground. The body language expert explains that you're more balanced physically, and it shows more confidence than if your legs are crossed or together. Don't put your hands in your pockets, as that's a sign of being nervous, uncertain, or uncomfortable. Give good eye contact, too. Put all of these body language parts together, and you will give the appearance of being super confident. Which of these body language signs have you spotted today? Let us know in comments, and please give this video a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching!